It gives me the.
What's going on? Welcome back to Prime Time with Ride Time. We have a special guest in our home studio. He's Infantry 11 Bravo. His name is Staff Sergeant Bustamante. He's a recruiter here in Central Oregon. We brought him on the show to ask him some questions, and if you want to work with him, that's cool too. Let's see what he's about, okay?
So, kind of a little bit of history. I know you didn't walk over it, but he is a local recruiter in Bend, but he also grew up in Bend too.
He is from Bend. Yeah, that's true. How do you like Bend?
It's home. It's definitely changed over the years. I left here in 2006. I moved up to Portland for a little while.
I'm sorry.
And then, it's pretty bad up there. And then I moved out to Dundee, which is in Yamhill County. That's where my parents were living.
Mm-hmm.
And then ultimately decided to join the Army out of there. And now I'm back in my hometown.
Okay. So that kind of gets straight into it. How long have you been in the Army?
I've been in since October 9th of 2008, so that would make it about 11 years. So.
Wow. Okay. So 11 years ago, what motivated you to join the Army? Like, why did you do all this?
So originally I had wanted to do it while I was in high school. I was talking with a recruiter then, and ultimately decided I want to be an adult for a little while, kind of go do my own thing.
I want to be a man.
I had a lot of people kind of in my ear telling me not to do it, that, oh, don't do it, blah, blah, blah. Like, go do something else, go to college, this, that, and the other. I kind of listened to them, and I think it was right around 2008 when the financial crisis hit. Pretty much places were closing up. No one was hiring, kind of similar to right now.
Right now, yeah.
And, it was always in the back of my mind to want to go and join the Army. That was something I've always wanted to do. Whenever I was playing with my cousins, we played Army, we never played Navy, we never played Air Force, we played Army. And so it's always been a thing. Yeah. It's always been a thing in the back of my mind that, it was that was an actual job that I could do. I'll go into the recruiting office, talk with them. And my process was quick because I didn't have any objections. I was like, hey, I'm not doing anything right now. This has been something I've always wanted to do. The whole MEPS process on it was pretty quick. And then I shipped out to basic training with Fort Benning, Georgia, which was kind of weird because it was my first time ever out of the state of Oregon.
No one pumped your gas, huh?
So I didn't even have a car down there at the time.
Oh, no.
But yeah, it was a completely different climate. Had people from all over the world, not just U.S. citizens, but people from Guam and all the other different countries that were trying to get their citizenship through the Army. And then after that, went to airborne school, still there at Fort Benning, jumped out of a plane. It was the second time I was ever in a plane.
Mm-hmm.
And then, did my 5 jumps, went to Fort Bragg, North Carolina, stayed there for about 6 years, I believe. About 6 or 8 years or something like that. And then got picked up for recruiting and came out to recruiting and got to come back to my hometown.
So how's it been being a recruiter in your hometown? What's it like?
It's a bit odd, just because as a recruiter, most of the time we have to go into the high schools and talk with some of the teachers. And crazy enough, some of the teachers at Bend High School were my teacher at the time.
And that's where you graduated from, is Bend High.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what is your MOS again for the viewers?
So I am an 11 Bravo, which is infantry.
Infantry. All right.
So.
And what made you choose that job out of all the other ones? Why that one?
So, like I said, when I was playing Army with my cousins and friends and stuff like that, it was always the dude who was in the movies, the guy who was always fighting on the front lines and stuff. That was always interesting to me. And I had taken the ASVAB. They had mentioned hey, you can go do this job, you can do this job. I was yeah, that doesn't sound interesting at all to me. I don't like being in an office.
Yeah.
I don't like jobs where I'm not physically doing something.
You like being outside?
I like being outside, and so it's been the best job for me. I've loved it for my entire career. When your job is hey, wake up, go work out for a little bit, come back after eating breakfast, and we're gonna go to the range and shoot 50 cows. That's it. That's my job. That sounds really fun.
And then go home.
Okay,
is it true that God loves the infantry?
I'd have to say yes. Maybe so. I don't know.
How do you feel when you wear that little blue cord around your arm? Do you feel better than everyone?
I wouldn't say better than everyone, but I do know that it's like a distinction. You know, if you
stand out,
like you saw like a whole row of people, like although our uniforms are supposed to be uniformal, you know, you see a guy with like a blue cord on his shoulder, and you're like, hey, what is that? That's no different than like the German.
Oh yeah, the white one.
Yeah, the white cord. It's something that pops that you're gonna go, oh, what is that? And, you know, get a little bit more curious about it.
Okay.
People in the Army obviously know what it is, but to like the regular everyday civilian, they see all Army guys, and then there's one with a blue cord, and it's like, well, what does that mean? So kind of picks their interest a little bit more.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So being infantry, you travel a lot. So where have you been to in your career?
So country-wise, I've been to Germany, Ireland, Kuwait, Romania, Iraq, Afghanistan, and then state-wise, I've been pretty much everywhere with the exception of the Dakotas, New York, and
Dang, you traveled a lot then.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Alaska and Hawaii. Those are two other places I haven't been.
Did you like Hawaii?
No, I haven't been there.
Oh, you haven't.
Those are the places I haven't
okay,
been.
okay.
As far as like states in the United States, I've been Boston, I've been in Massachusetts, I've been in Mississippi, Florida, goodness gracious, Georgia, obviously.
For like all training, right? Or station, both.
Training and all sorts of stuff. Like when I was in Boston, Massachusetts, we were at the Natick Research Development Center.
Yeah.
And so we're testing out like the new airborne rucksack, the Molly 4000. They have this new, I forget what it's called, but it's like a gyroscope put on a GPS when they do heavy drops.
Yep.
But yeah, like we went up there, spent a month, got to explore all around Boston. We also went to different parts of New England. So we went to Leominster, Dorchester.
Wow.
Like all over the place. Went to Salem. I absolutely love Salem, Massachusetts. I think that if I retire, I'd probably go there. So.
Is it like all about the witch stuff there? I've never been there personally.
I wouldn't say it's all about like witch stuff, but it's definitely one of the very few cities I've been to that still has like all the old eclectic things, and like they even have like the old cobblestone courtyard area, and it's really cool.
I'd be scared to go. I feel like everything's haunted.
Yeah,
I'd be scared, bro. Okay, so what's the greatest thing about the Army to you? That's like the most important factor.
I would have to say we're still getting paid during this whole coronavirus.
That's true.
That's a good factor. But I would have to say that the biggest factor is you kind of get to determine what you want to do with your future.
Yeah, if you don't like it, you can change.
Day one, yeah. I'm actually looking into either becoming a warrant officer or switching my MOS completely. For those of you that don't know, a warrant officer is not quite like a regular commissioned officer, like a captain or a lieutenant or anything.
They're just in the middle, like enlisted and officer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, shit.
They're usually designated as subject matter experts in their field. And so I'm actually talking with a recruiter, which, as you know, we recruit people who are not in the Army to come to the Army. And in the Army, we have recruiters as well called career counselors that recruit people who are currently in the Army for other different occupations and positions. And so, actually talking with one right now, and see if doing the warrant officer thing is what I want to do, or ultimately if I just want to stay in the infantry. So I'd have to say that's probably one of the bigger assets that I think that the Army has over other branches and other career fields. If you were to work at Walmart for 4 or 5 years and then decide, hey, like I don't want to do this, I actually want to work in like, construction. Those 5 years that you've spent with Walmart don't transfer over to whatever new agency you're going to.
Yeah.
Whereas with the Army, you could be a plumber for the first 4 years of your career and decide, hey, I want to do something in like, medicine. Your rank, time and service, your retirement benefits, all that stuff transfers with you. And you can kind of just switch and flip-flop careers. I've had soldiers who had had like 5 different occupations at one time. And yeah, knowing that, okay, like the 20 years isn't the 20 years for that specific job.
Mm-hmm.
It's 20 years in total. And, I hate to say it, but there's plenty of people out there that work in the civilian sector that work way, way past 20 years.
Yep.
They work into their 60s,
Yep. 30 years is usually common for retirements in the civilian world. We only do 20. So why is the Army the best branch to you?
We got better uniforms.
Uniform. Man, I hear people will debate that one.
Yeah, I know. Some people like that weird digital camo from the Marines, and
they get to roll their sleeves.
I will have to say the Space Force stuff. That's kind of interesting. I want to see how that plays out.
Yeah, I do too.
I don't know what kind of
Camo
uniform
for
camouflage
space.
pattern they'll have.
Black
Maybe
or-
just black with a bunch of white dots or
Yeah.
something. I don't know, but
That'll be interesting.
I would have to say so. Army wise, like I said, it's been something that I've always been interested in. When I was a kid, we never played Air Force or Navy.
I want to play Space Force.
Yeah, and so the Army's just always been kind of a thing that's been in my mind. For most people, it's either the military or the Army or college. They have a certain college that they want to go to. Like a kid loves the Oregon Ducks and wants to go to college, he's probably not going to be looking at what type of degree field is offered at different universities. He's going to look at what's offered at University of Oregon. So for me, it's kind of the same thing. I always liked the Army and just trying to figure out what I wanted to do in the Army.
Okay. So if y'all don't know, or you're new to tuning into our videos, Sergeant Bustamante is probably the freshest dressed person in the office, man. You got this Jeezy, this Fashion Nova, I don't know what you want to call it. You got that black on black Haterade, you know what I mean? How long does it take you to get ready in the morning? Because you're just fresh to death, man.
Probably about 15 minutes.
I would probably say he preps his clothes the night before.
Yeah.
And the 15 minutes all goes into his hair.
That's probably a good point. You probably sleep next to your outfit, like I'm going to wear this tomorrow.
Probably. Now I usually get up and already know what I'm going to wear.
Told you.
It's like a closet of black.
Yeah. Stick with one color is pretty easy. But yeah, hair, it's real easy. Just pomade real quick.
So you swap a seat though?
Yeah.
Same thing about the uniform. You never have to decide.
Yeah, it's the nice thing about the uniform. It's fresh, it's clean. You don't ever have to worry about is this top going to match this pants or it's just too dark than that. Yeah, it's.
So if you're looking for fashion advice as well as Army advice, Sergeant Bustamante is your recruiter. Let me tell you what. Last question and final. If you were looking at yourself, bright-eyed, fresh 18-year-old Vincent, what advice would you give him?
I would tell him, cut your hair because long hair doesn't look good. I used to have long-ass hair back when I was 18, I want to say. There's also a lot of stupid things I was doing around that time as well, especially with friends. Things that I could have definitely gotten myself into real deep trouble with.
Mm-hmm.
I would just try to tell myself hey, figure out what your goal is and try to achieve that.
Okay.
Not kind of
skate through life, literally.
Skate through life, literally. So.
Okay. Well, I appreciate coming in to do the video today. Thank all the viewers for watching. I see we have some numbers up on the charts. Thank you and tune in. Welcome back to another session of Primetime Rat Time.